top. This is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I'm your other host, Joe.
And today we're going to be covering yet another.
How many more of these do we have?
Like three more after this one, I think.
Yet another.
Yeah.
Yet another.
We're
going to be going over a yet another today.
Yet another episode of blah, blah, blah. This one is Nanaki's, so we get Red 13's story in between Final Fantasy VII and the beloved Advent Children.
The beloved.
Yes.
The beloved by some, I would argue.
Loved by many, hated by some, I would say.
Okay, all right. Mixed reviews?
Mixed, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mixed reviews, yeah.
All right.
So, we'll be doing that courtesy of the what was it, 2 years ago, the winner of the best non-UFF podcast for the livestream.net?
Yeah,
I do believe so.
Yeah.
So kudos to those guys for their excellent job translating this thing and getting those voice actors put together and finding the guy with the biggest balls in the industry to introduce their show every time. The livestream.net presents episode on the
Sounds like the singer to Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah. Episode Nanaki. So kudos to that guy. And the extra poochy crotch region of his jeans has to get custom made for those fucking balls.
I like the way they put music together. It's overall like a really solid kind of production. Especially this episode, which we'll get into it. Schweiss. They can find us at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can support the show if you want to by clicking through the Patreon link there or through the Amazon link as well. Or there's a PayPal link if you want to do it that way. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at UFF Podcast. Guys, if you're not going to get the $200 version of FF12, why not order it through Amazon, through our link?
Yeah.
Hook us up.
That's a good point.
They got the collector's edition, steelbook. Looks great. Wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's the best. It's the best.
It's at least second
tremendous.
best. But yes.
They can, you guys can follow us at facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. And you can watch us do the episodes live every Saturday, or almost every Saturday, at twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. Where are you, Schweiss, in Lightning Returns?
I think I'm on day 2 of Lightning Returns. That I don't really know what that means yet.
Day 2 out of?
I think it's out of. It's out of 13.
Oh my god! What?
Yeah.
What?
Surprise!
That's such a coincidence.
I know. Like it is a 13 game.
I wouldn't be
and it's a 13-day thing.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's.
I'm surprised they didn't do what's 13 times 3? 66?
39.
39. Wait, 13 times 3 is not 39.
It is.
Wait, hold on. It is 39. Fuck.
Yeah. 63. Yeah, 39
Fuck
days.
This. I'm gonna erase this episode. Just,
captured in time.
The embarrassment.
Captured in time. Twitch knows.
I gotta use the paper and the pen, man. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
am I
shit.
fucking retarded?
Yes.
Am I fucking retarded?
Okay, thank you. 39. I'm surprised it's not 39.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did mention 500-year gap, so they're breaking all sorts of Final Fantasy trends. No 1,000 years, it's 500 instead. But it's all right. It's got a very weird battle system.
So they ixnayed the old battle system.
Yeah, it's very active. You have like different assignments. You have different classes that you can build, like almost your own paradigms, but you can attach abilities to certain classes. Like you have attack. There's one for guard. You can like defend in real time and block. And there's
Does lightning start at level 0?
I don't even know. I don't even know what the leveling system is yet. I'm just fighting things.
All right.
And trying to fight against the clock because it's your enemy.
Obviously, with my question, I haven't played any Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
The only video game I played this week was a game for Nude Clan, Zestiria, Tales of Zestiria.
Yeah, we're pretty busy with that game. I only last minute decided to do a Saturday morning stream of Final Fantasy 13-2, and it's because 13-3, sorry. It's because I'm kind of embarrassed to not play it. Because, we didn't play it last week, and then to not play it this week would be like 2 weeks.
I understand, but there is something that you did recently with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
You should probably announce.
So, I am quitting the show. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
I I platinumed Final Fantasy 13-2, and it wasn't too bad. It only took me like 58 or 59 hours, which is around the higher end of the average I was seeing on my trusty PlayStation boards forum or whatever. And it wasn't super hard. There were a few times that I turned easy mode on because the guide recommended it. Like for the final boss fight, I turned easy mode on one of the times. And then when I went back when I had all of the cutscenes, every fragment finally done, and I was going to go get the secret ending, I did it on normal. And dude, it was so fucking easy. Like I just staggered him one time and I was able to kill him.
Just melted?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, no, he didn't do any moves. He just
to max out all your shit by 59 hours in is already like an accomplishment. The fact that you platinumed the game was crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than 13 was. There are these super enemies you can fight on the Arclight Steppe or whatever the fuck that is. It's all weirdly worded.
Yeah.
Lettered. You can find the Long Gui, you can fight an Ochu monster, and then there's a couple other ones that are like legendary fights, and those give you 30,000 CP each. That gave me a lot, but then also just running around and killing one monster for the bestiary. I had to get one kill of everything in the game to get one of the fragments, and that was just giving me tons of CP. Because sometimes they just don't spawn. Like it just takes forever. And I try to run away, but then if I don't run away, I'll just kill whatever it is. And sometimes the fucking enemies, even though they're like tiny little weaklings, they'll chase me relentlessly, and I can't escape. And I'm like, God, I don't want you, but you get a lot of CP.
Are you going to Platinum Lightning Returns?
Yeah, I think I'm
supposed to take multiple playthroughs, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try.
Okay.
It's supposed to be around the same 40 to 60 hours as 13-2.
Oh, good.
So that's not that many hours as far as platinum goes. And then that also means the game will be a 20-hour game to beat. So there's that. Yeah. So it might seem like we're behind, but remember, we did this with 13-2 as well. We didn't start it, and then we started it and then beat the shit out of it and then reviewed it. So here we are.
It might happen again.
Who knows?
Or we might be doing episode blah, blah, blah next week as well.
Yeah. Next week.
Probably be the case. Anyway.
I think next week we might be able to get Bainstrom on actually for a Patreon invite finally.
Oh, he's all busy with his shows now, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's doesn't have time for us uffers anymore.
Fine, babe.
But he did say tentatively next weekend for recording his Patreon invite. So
okay, well, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I hope it happens. It's been a while since we had a Stump the Joe segment, so
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out all the stops, get the bullshit questions.
Oh God! All right, let's get to some news, Schweiss.
Okay, an update for all of you World of Final Fantasy players out there. March 23rd is going to be the release of the patch 1.03 alongside the free Champion Summon Balthier DLC.
That's right.
Here are the changes that they have noted on the website here. This is Gamatsu.com. Great website.
The best.
Skip function for battle scenes added. Press the circle button to skip summon scenes such as Mega Mirage summons and Champion summons. So that sounds like a kind of like an FF10 thing where you can make it a shortened version.
Why does it take
Or just
Square
skip it
to be
forever.
like, oh, should we allow players to skip this stuff?
Yeah, it's really cool in the beginning, and when I was playing 10 for the show, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to leave it on the long summons. I like them. And then after about 4 hours, I was like, I can't anymore. It's like a minute every time. And it's already going to take me 100 hours.
Dude,
So
I would say with cutscenes, like when they finally decided that you could skip cutscenes
in
FF12,
I know, it's like, oh, thank God.
it's like, I don't think I could take that Seymour cutscene again.
Yeah, or the Lady Unalesca this last time. God, she was brutal. Like, all I try to do is cure my people. And she does Megadeth on them, and if they don't have Doom, they all die. So, like, fuck. And then I have to watch the 20 minutes again.
Well, Megadeth does do some face-melting stuff. So.
It's true. You got to be damned. You got to be damned to live through Megadeth. There's a fast-forward setting added to the settings menu, which enables fast-forward for battles and events.
Oh, Jesus.
Battle response improvements. I guess the ATB bar fill conditions for standard encounters has improved, and you can input commands quicker than before.
So when we finally get to this game, we'll be able to cheat through it.
Yeah, we'll be able to play it very quickly.
That's what that sounds like to me.
Sephiroth,
Can I press the fast forward button to get this review done next week?
yeah, FF12, the Zodiac edition is going to have that fast forward too, so it's going to be nice. Sephiroth, Balthier, and Sora added to the background music settings. Random added to the background music. Don't know what that is. HP and AP recovers at gates, save points, and when each chapter saves. So they're bringing back the...
This game will be much easier.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be Final Fantasy 10 to 12.
Should have heard Craig in the background saying, it's already fucking easy. Dude.
So I know Final Fantasy Mobius is not as big of a deal as Brave Exvius, but Final Fantasy 15 is coming to Final Fantasy Mobius. So people who log in to Mobius Final Fantasy up until March 31st will be able to enjoy some Final Fantasy 15 content. A 15-day event has begun, giving people a chance to collect ability cards inspired by characters from 15. Now, I downloaded Mobius, but I never actually played it, so none of that means anything to me.
Yes.
But the big piece of news here, Final Fantasy 15 DLC episode Gladiolus has a trailer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and we are going to watch said trailer.
Let us do that.
Right. Fucking now.
Yeah, now. How about right now?
But for real, let's do it.
Okay.
First time we've had a DLC for 15, at least.
You come to prove yourself worthy of my mantle.
I do. I am here to undertake the trial of Gilgamesh.
Ravis is in it?
Went up against the High Commander and got my ass handed to me. Couldn't stand a chance. And I never will unless I get more power.
Gilgamesh awaits challengers in the deepest recesses of those ruins.
You're ready to face death.
Good battles.
Looks like he's a lot more active. Yeah, there he is.
All right.
It's over.
All right, I'm in. That looks cool.
You know what? Oh, shit. God damn it.
You gonna buy that?
I hate the
season
idea
pass?
of DLC, but does look pretty cool.
It is the.
How much is the season pass?
It's like $20.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
It's the ultimate DLC experience, is what it is.
God damn it, dude. That was a good trailer. You saw. There's obviously some sort of plot line with Gladiolus. It looks like you're playing him in this. And
I think it's the section where he takes off.
New areas, and there's like some cool creatures, and it might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he fights Gilgamesh. So
yeah, can't wait to not review that for this.
Yeah. Why not? We can do all of them as one episode.
God.
Episode.
Yeah, when they're finally done in 2 years with all the DLC. We just do.
I don't know. I think it's going to be sooner than that.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Craig, I brought you over here. If you guys heard me clapping and snapping earlier, it was because I was trying to get Caleb's dumb attention.
My dumb attention?
Yeah, like you were talking to me, and then I started gesturing towards you, and you turned your head and looked at your phone and was just like zoned out.
What?
What? He's trying to... So you played World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you beat it or just played?
I beat it.
You beat it? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Did we talk about this before?
I think we did, yeah.
I think we
All right, so
mentioned it,
you
yeah.
beat World of Final Fantasy. What do you think about those new changes?
The game was already super easy. Like, you could let a 4-year-old just run rampant and they could beat
Well,
it.
I figured as much when you said you finished it, but
Fuck you, first of all. But, like, seriously, it was way too easy. Like,
But now you can fast forward through it.
yeah, that's, like, okay, I guess. But there's already, like, a fast forward mode. Like, I don't know what more speed you need in the game.
well,
Always more speed.
yeah.
Like, I didn't really even use the summons in the game because they're kind of, unless you try to, like, specifically make them stronger, they're not very good.
Yeah.
They just aren't as good as your normal dudes with their attacks and abilities. So it's not really worth it to summon them anyway. So I don't really understand the speed boost on the summon function.
All right, that's fair.
All right. Well, we got your opinion on that. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
You can stick around if you want now. Okay, all right. So is that it for News Schweiss?
Yeah, a very light news week.
DLC?
I bought the $200 edition of Final Fantasy 12. I pre-ordered that. It looks pretty sweet, but it's expensive.
Do you only get one little figure, or do
You get all of them.
Oh, well, that's not too bad then. I thought they were going to pull like some. You get one.
You get a random
No,
one.
you get all the judges.
Yeah, you do.
Honestly, if I were Square Enix, if I wanted to make some money off of some hardcore fans, it'd be like, there's 6 editions you can buy.
Yeah, they had that for the special edition to the FF12 guide, actually. Mine has, like, on the cover of my guide, it has Balthier, but Jake actually got one that was Bosch, and there's one for each of the main characters.
So
and you can't see it until
there will be super fans out there that will decide to collect them all.
Yeah, you can't see it until you buy it and open it, because the outside cover doesn't have it. It's the inside.
Evil.
It's the inside-outside cover that has it. So, yeah.
Oh my god. Dude, honestly, that DLC trailer is making me rethink
What you were saying earlier.
Yeah, but it's pissing me off. I hate it still.
Yeah.
Why is it pissing you off?
Well, he hates the idea of DLC for a Final Fantasy game. Now, I think 13.2 does it pretty well, where it's just extra stuff. It's not... This is all extra stuff too, but this is like extra story content, and that's where it's like, I don't know how I feel about that. Now, they did say the story is the episode's supposed to be around 2 to 3 hours, so I'm guessing 1 to 2. In all honesty, so I mean,
it's like one dungeon.
You mean 30 minutes?
Yeah,
If it's
30 to 45 minutes.
Wasn't the game's main story was supposed to take like 80 hours or something? What was the time? It was some sick time that they told us, and it was bullshit.
Yeah, it's complete bullshit. I mean, I did it in 100 hours, and I did almost everything in the game, and I beat it twice.
Or that there was a boss that was supposed to take multiple days, and it does in game. It does take multiple days.
Yeah, the Adamantoid.
It did take me
game.
It did take
that was
me
a
day.
trick. It was a fucking trick.
Yeah.
To say, hey, this boss is going to be sick. But
Right.
It wasn't really that sick, and the camera was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was not well done. I don't think for that, but I'm excited to get into the DLC of this game. I haven't done it yet though. I mean, we've had these timed events. There were a couple timed beasts that you could go out and fight if you timed quests, and I just didn't put the game in my PS4 and load it up for those. I just didn't have time. Like I'm too busy with 13.2. And now with Lightning Returns and Tales of Zestiria for Nude Clan, honestly, the pull isn't really there. They did increase the max level, which is MMOE, right? It's now level 120 is what the max level is now.
It's a break against tradition with the level 99 thing.
Kind of. I mean, FF10 didn't have level 99, so I mean, I guess it's sort of how you look at it. 13 doesn't have levels either.
Yeah.
13.2 does.
13.2 has level 99.
Yeah, it does. So, I don't know. It's fine, but I was really looking forward to the time quests and the time hunts, and then I just didn't do them.
Oh my god.
So I don't know why. I think it's because I put my 100 hours into it, and I feel fulfilled for now. But I am excited for the DLC.
Are you gonna wait till all the DLC is out to return?
No, I'll probably play it when it comes out. Since I have the season pass, so I mean I own it. Yeah, might as well. Might as well jump into it. So
we might as well jump into what was it? On the Way to a Smile episode Nanaki.
yes,
All right.
TheLightstream.net presents On the Way to a Smile, Case of Nanaki.
Oh, Gilligan, please be gone. Just what are you?
Nanaki, also known as Red 13, howled at the moon as he tried to rid himself of the darkness that had taken root in his heart. His howl
On the Way
echoed
to a
in the
Smile.
cold night on the plateau far in the
So this one starts out much like many of the other On the Way to a Smile.
Depressing?
Kind of sad. Nanaki decides that he wants to leave his village to obtain knowledge. He basically wants to go on another world tour, is what I wrote here. He wants to go around and learn human empathy and just learn about everything around him.
Yeah, so he wants to learn about the world by going around the world, and in my mind it was like, this isn't new to him though.
They've already done this.
He's already done this. He's already gone around the world and in fact helped save the world, if I remember correctly.
Gone to pretty much every place you can go.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I have to leave now, and I'll go visit all the old friends in their haunts.
And the stigma. Yeah.
Stigma.
Yeah.
And that was something that was kind of odd to me. I was like, really? Like, you didn't get enough of that? But okay. He's going to go travel the world like Samuel L. Jackson at the end of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he's just he's a vagabond. He wants to live.
Wants to understand nature. I guess he wants to be like that guy in Master and Commander, the medic guy who goes around and like draws pictures of bugs and shit.
Yeah, there you go.
He wants to be like that guy.
So as he's walking away from his village, he turns around. He turns around and he just feels something within his chest. And I have written down on my little notepad here, it's a chest burster from the Alien franchise.
We both had that connection as we were listening to this thing.
And apparently Nanaki has decided to call this chest burster Gilligan. He named it. He's like, well, I have this feeling deep down inside, and I'm going to call it Gilligan from now on. Now, I don't know. This is weird to me. Like, what it ends up being is a deep-seated like feeling of remorse.
Gilligan is his fear of loss.
Fear of loss. Yeah, it's.
I thought it was an ulcer
because he's an ulcer or a chest burster. Like it's just wriggling around on the inside.
He he calls it like a thing, like it has like form in his body and like it's creating a hole in his heart and it's ready to burst out. And that's when I was like, I made the little alien chest burster motion on my shirt. That's what it is. It's
right.
chest burster.
And he's feeling this because he
metaphorical chest burster called Gilligan.
Yeah.
What was the metaphorical face hugger that impregnated him to get the chest burster?
Call it Sephiroth.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Hojo.
Yeah, Hojo's the face hugger.
Yeah, he hugged his face and impregnated him. So the reason why he's feeling this, of course, is because his species has a 500 to 1,000 year lifespan. And
what? I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I knew he was older than he appeared, because there was that scene with Bugenhagen where he's like, but father or grandfather, I am blah, blah, blah years old. And he's like, yeah, but you're just a kid in your species timeline.
So he then makes the like connection that he is apparently, when it comes to humans, he is only as mature
as a
16-year-old.
Yeah. So that means if he's going to live to 500 years, then he's going to be 160-year-old. So he's going to have the personality of a 160-year-old human, according to that line. Now, the personality of a 160-year-old human is that of dust on my shelf behind us. There is no personality there. So I thought that was an odd thing where it's like, well, you're 50, but you're really only 16 in human years. So if he lives half of his overall life expectancy.
But his thing was like that his mind wasn't developed past that. Like he didn't have the maturity of equal to more than a 16-year-old human.
Yeah.
Which, considering I just went through his thought process throughout this entire 4-hour thing, or however long it was, it felt like 4 hours. I guess it was like an hour, because I guess when it's depressing, it just feels longer. This entire like story, I do think that he is older than 16 in his mind.
Yeah, with
I just thought it was
FF7,
odd comparison.
I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was that young. Like, he did do some things, and he had weird daddy issues in the story, but it didn't come across as a kid necessarily. So it's weird that he would have this this moment in this thing where he's like, no, I guess I'm only here, and I can only be here. But anyway, yeah, this is when Nanaki finally sees the infected disease, the geostigma, the black ooze that seeps out of every pore in these people's bodies.
First, I think he meets up with Yuffie first.
He sees Yuffie,
and then he hears a bear in the woods.
Yeah, well, before this is when this is when we introduce the trans species idea into the Final Fantasy universe, because Nanaki, there's a line where Nanaki's like, I've always felt like I should have been a human, but I'm a wolf man. So like he feels like he's in the wrong body. So Final Fantasy, this is a new page for Final Fantasy, as far as I know, where we have our first trans species character with Nanaki.
I can't wait till we get our first trans species president, Schweiss.
I know, yeah. Meowser. That'll be President Meowser.
Meowser. Oh my god. It's only if you like rub his belly.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. If you piss him off too much, he'll nuke you. You can't play with him too much. You gotta know his limits.
Kitty can scratch.
Yeah, Kitty can scratch. So yes, trans species.
Oh my god! All right.
There's a weird scene where he sees the faces of the people from Cosmo Canyon, and he can't really remember them. And then this is kind of where Nanaki finally sort of understands death. Where he realizes the finality of it all, because he's going to live for fucking ever, but he just has this moment where he's like, wow, all of these people are going to totally die.
Everybody going to die.
And I'm going to still be here, and this is going to be shitty.
It's like that moment when the elf lady in Lord of the Rings is like, he's going to die.
Yeah.
It's just
Is it like
moment.
that?
It's just like that moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only it's not like a love story, so it's
Yeah, Rucksack
just like,
says
my friends are going to go.
he fits the sailor suit well. Exactly. That's proof. He is trapped in the wrong body. So, and like we said earlier, Gilligan is the manifestation of fear of his friends' deaths. And as he's going through a forest, and then he hears a gunshot, and he sees this boy who has shot a bear. The bear is like going to town on this kid. I'm thinking like Revenant style gore fest. The kid like goes off the cliff, into the tree.
That's a totally different part of the movie, but yeah.
To escape, and then the bear, Nanaki saves the boy, and then the bear gets shot by a hunter who happens to be the hunter's dad.
The boy's dad.
The boy's dad, is the hunter, and the dad wants to capture Red 13, and this is where it's like an awkward moment where he's like coming to terms with his animalistic tendencies.
Then Red 13 was like, it's okay.
Yeah, he's like, it's okay to kill. And he was like,
I'm trans species.
Yeah.
I'm human.
No. You don't capture me, all right?
Yeah.
All right? I'm trans species.
Yeah. So this is
It's
when
gonna be a little fucked up to catch a sentient creature anyway.
You're a human in a
Fire wolf's body.
in a Red 13 body.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So this is where he has this like outer
Let me get these chains off you.
outer body experience where he realizes that everything needs to kill to eat. So this is where it kind of feels like one of those old school Godzilla movies where it's got the like fucking lame message at the end, and they're like, "Oh, it appears that everything needs to
Lame
kill
message. Come on.
to eat. We must only hunt for food and not sport, for it is evil."
Okay. Yeah. He has this philosophical
Revelation
in his head that there's a difference between monsters and hunters.
Yeah, and monsters hunt to kill, whereas hunters hunt to feed.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and then the story just keeps
and
going.
he fucking uses this to like justify the bear killing the kid later on. Like, there's another part where a bear attacks a kid, and he's like, "It is nature's way." And I'm like, God, dude, I thought you were trans species. I thought you were a human. What is it, Red? Huh? You can't tell me at one moment that you're a trans species being, and then later, oh, it's the rules of the forest. Your forest, your rules. What is this?
I don't. Does the boy die? Am I?
No.
All right. I didn't think he died. Okay, so then all of a sudden these two cubs sort of like come along, and you find out that it was obviously the mama bear that got killed.
Yeah,
the cubs are all alone, and then Red 13 sort of looks after him while he's traveling in the forest. Then one day he hears far off the sound of a bear attacking someone. It turns out to be the boy, the hunter's son. It turns out to be the boy again, getting attacked by one of the bears who has been named Bazu and Rin.
Yeah.
Bazu is attacking the kid. Yes.
Your patronage is appreciated.
The Bazu is attacking the Red, and Red asks him to put his gun down or something. What the fuck was that?
Yeah. There's okay. So before that, I wrote Mom Naki for when he was taking care of the taking care of the baby bears.
Mom Naki.
Yeah, he grew really close to those guys. Teaches them how to hunt, and I guess Nibel bear hunting is like the new fad in the region. So there's a lot of bears getting killed, and so yeah, Bazu. He finds Bazu, one of the baby bears who's grown up by now. This is a year later. We find out trying to kill a boy, and this is where what I was saying earlier about like, oh, he is in the forest, and it is now the rules of the forest. Therefore, the boy shall fend for his own. And I'm like, okay, so I guess, and then I wrote down here, the first rule of the forest is that you don't talk about the forest. Because it was this weird, like, cultish, he is in the forest now, I can no longer help. It is the laws of beast, no longer man.
But the hunter doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and the dad finds the kid. We get a weird scene with Elena, one of the Turks. Gilligan shows back up, and Red wakes up and goes to the little village area because he hears some shit going on because the Bazu and Rin were attacking, and there they are, dead. They're just dead. They have their tails cut off. Apparently that's like the ivory tusks of the bear tail. I've never like
the little puff of tail that bears have.
Yeah, they put it in their hats, you know. They just have that little poof ball.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's a poof. It's just like a gross tail.
Not,
right?
yeah. It's like a disgusting little balled up tail.
Yeah.
So their tails are cut off, and then Nanaki. There's another weird scene where, like, I wrote down, "It's just business," like from Godfather, where he's like, "It's just business. It's business, nothing personal." And because that's kind of how the whole law of the forest thing is.
Okay.
But then this is where Nanaki just says fuck it to the whole law of the forest thing, and now he wants revenge.
Right. So he thinks that Bazu actually tried to get revenge for the killing of his mother.
Right.
And then he made a statement like humans are the only species capable of such hatred. He believed that until possibly now. And my thing was like, I just read a book. Okay. All right. I listened to a book, as Schweiss would like to put it.
Yeah.
I listened to a book called Before the Dawn, which is about human evolution, how they kind of figured it out via DNA. And something that was interesting was that chimpanzees are the only other species that we know of that participate in the same type of warfare that we do. So instead of it's not just fighting, it's warfare.
So it should be Planet of the Chimps.
So
then.
I was thinking in this universe in FF7, obviously maybe Red 13 hasn't come across chimpanzees. Do chimpanzees exist? And how is human evolution, how did it evolve in Final Fantasy 7? Also, where did Red 13 come from and along that chain? It was a question I had, and no one, of course, has the answers to. But it's not true. Chimpanzees do participate in warfare.
Nice.
I thought that was really interesting. But Red 13 was like, how could this bear get revenge? I don't think a bear would get revenge, personally. I would say it's probably benign. I think the bear just didn't like the kid.
Yeah,
the kid was dumb and provoked it.
And also, why the fuck was he in the same forest for so long, Red 13, if he wanted to see the world?
Yeah, he was here for a year, we find out. So, yeah, he decides that he wants to kill a kid, and while he was doing that, Vincent shows up, Red gets blasted. I wrote down here, give Red to the guns.
That's a nude claim.
And then this is, and then Vincent's advice is basically get over it, but never forget. So never forget the experiences you had.
Did you just forget that? Did we talk about Vincent like suddenly showing up?
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay,
I said he just shows up randomly. Nanaki wants to go with Vincent. And I wrote something here like you can change I said if you can change the future, you don't change the past. So Vincent, that was basically Vincent's advice to him is like you can't change the past, but you can change what you do with the past.
He's not in the 13 universe, obviously.
Yeah. And so it's like it's almost 2 years in the forest with the bears. My apologies.
Wow.
There's no cure for the geostigma, which of course we know. All work. I wrote down all work and no play makes Gilligan a dull boy. And now the reason why I wrote this down is because apparently the geostigma like gets worse within you. The Gilligan, the like feeling of remorse gets worse the more time you have to think. So like when you're busy and when you're working your ass off, Gilligan is weak, right? The chest burster can only you have to have really high production value in your body to really get that chest burster wonder built and ejected from your body. So like without hard work, the feelings of pain and potential loss in the future, like double down basically is what I was getting out of that.
It's like get busy and you'll forget that you have the geostigma.
Yeah, there's that Japanese work ethic, right?
Yeah, it does sound like it's some sort of stereotypical Japanese work ethic. And Yuffie is a big fan of it. She's like, get some exercise, it'll make you feel better.
Yeah, get that runner's high, right?
Yeah, get the runner's high. And then like get some exercise and it won't make you feel as like you have so much Gilligan in you, and then maybe you won't feel like you have to be trans species.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's all mental health, right?
It's all mental health.
That's Vincent's take, of course. Vincent kind of explains that Gilligan comes from the future, so it's weird to me that Red named this feeling in the pit of his stomach, and he's like okay with talking to his friend about this feeling that he's fucking
Oh my
named.
God, dude.
That's
if
like
you
having
told me that you had something called a Gilligan.
Yeah. You're like, is that like a giant pimple on your ass or something? Like, what is a Gilligan?
Deep within my heart, Gilligan resides.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Caleb?
Yeah, are you
like, high?
Yeah, dude. No, but Gilligan.
How many beers have you had?
There's this feeling in it. It's really deep inside, and its name is Gilligan. It doesn't want me to tell anyone about it, but he's in there.
All that would happen for the other person would just be like a nod.
And like a glance to the door, like, okay, if I ran for the door, would he be able to
Who
stop
should I call right now?
Do I need to sit here any longer?
Yeah. So Vincent,
It's uncomfortable.
apparently Vincent is totally cool with that, and
He's got his own Gilligan.
yeah, apparently it's
you got your own Gilligan. You got
it's what's her name?
You gotta take Gilligan to an island. So you can call it Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a reference, but I
and then when you leave, he'll have to stay there forever.
Leave him there. He'll figure things out.
yeah. So
Looking at radio.
he has a lot of second thoughts about the children, thinking of the two bears. He talks to Vincent about it, but Vincent doesn't really care and like feel the same thing because Vincent's death, I wrote down here, the day that never comes. As we know, he is immortal, so he doesn't really fear death at all. So I guess he doesn't care about anybody else's either, except his woman, of course. That was pretty brutal for him, but it was a long time ago, and he's steeled his heart since then. And then there's a pretty comical bit at the very end where Red 13's like, dude, we should totally keep traveling together. We can be road dogs. Like, we can be an awesome duo and just do everything. And then Vincent's like, no, I don't think so. And Vincent then tells him that he will visit Nanaki once a year because he's annoying. So he's like annoyed by Nanaki's presence. So he's like, once a year is fine, but any more than that, and
I don't want you talking about your fucking Gilligan.
I'm gonna have to smother you in your fucking Gilligan. Yeah. So that's basically where this one ends.
And Red 13 laughs for the first time.
Oh yeah. There's so we listened to. This might hurt you, our good friends at livestream.net, but we listened to most of this at ×2 speed, and
because we had an episode.
Yeah, we had an episode to do, and there's 4 parts to this thing. So Vincent's laugh and Red 13's laughs, they sounded insane on ×2. It was like, I was like, what the fuck was that? And then it did it again. It was like, so they sound like sprinklers. But yeah, we do get some laughter, and this one's actually kind of light. I mean, there's a lot of reflecting as far as Red 13 is concerned.
Hunted.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
trans
species. Monster. Yeah, and it's kind of that whole idea of what he was saying earlier, that only man kills for sport, but then because he feels like he's always been a man, he goes to try to kill for revenge, which is more sportish than food. So he kind of becomes that near the end.
You think that the reason he talks to Vincent is because Vincent is also a trans species?
Yes, probably. That's why he wanted to hang out with him, but he was like, no, I'm not one of those kind of trans species where I need another person. I don't know. It was. I thought this one was good, though. I think it's.
That was right.
It's one of the stronger ones. I still think. I don't know actually which one I like the most.
I'm going with this one. I think.
Yeah.
Just for now,
It was a lot. It was kind of like light and then dark at the same time, like the bears getting killed.
It didn't have like 20 minutes of reflection before he goes off and does his thing.
That's true. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of him reflecting until after the events with the bear cubs dying, and then him seeing, like, once again reminded of his fucking chest burster Gilligan and the deep fear of everyone around him dying, everyone he loves dying. So
I want to congratulate livestream.net for this particular episode for finding a voice for Red 13 that is better than the one in Advent Children.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you very
job.
much. And not that would have been too hard to pull off.
No, but you definitely pulled it off.
He wasn't talking about the stigma too much.
Yeah.
Stupid his voice for that Red 13. It just comes out of nowhere too.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
the other children. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. All right. Well, do we have any questions this week?
We do.
We do. We'll probably forget the Twitter ones. Someday.
Yeah. So we first up today, playing Lightning Returns on easy from Shinru. Just wanted to know if you will be playing
the one who gave me shit for playing 13-2 on easy.
Yeah. Just wanted to know if you will be playing Lightning Returns on FF13 on easy.
Yes.
Reason I ask is because when the game was coming out, Square Enix suggested that everyone play it on easy mode because the game's easy mode is what normal mode was on the previous games. Lightning Returns is supposed to be played 2 times and requires you beat it on New Game Plus to get the platinum and see other story stuff. Most players play it on easy, then do the New Game Plus on normal mode. You get to carry everything over, so yeah, I just wondered, since if you try to play on normal or hard mode on the first playthrough, you will get destroyed. Alistair said he managed to get the normal ending on normal first and only never playing the game again playthrough, but he struggled combat-wise on the fucking boss fights, but he thinks it just never really clicked with the battle system and is completely doable, in his opinion. What?
I'm so sorry. Twice. Yes, I will be playing Lightning Returns on easy. What about you, Craig?
What are you laughing about?
Just something else.
If I get to Lightning Returns, I'll play it on normal.
Okay.
Is it a picture that he's getting?
It's a fucking Drew. I thought Drew was still messaging me for the Kong Soul Island thing. I opened up my notifications. There was a very funny meme.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened, and me and Craig were trying to silently laugh.
Yeah. You almost had it. So you're going to play it on easy then?
Yeah, probably. Just if that's the case, Shinro, I'm definitely going to play it on easy. Just because I want to get the game done and not be too frustrated with it. I know that this is not news that some people like, because some people are like, hardcore, fuck you. But I'm a cash, and I enjoy being a cash, and I shall stay a cash pretty much all my cash life. So
yeah, I'm going to play it on normal. And,
okay, all right.
I'll still try to platinum it. So
all right.
I have gotten brutally fucked by one of the bosses in the game though. So I'm feeling the pain of the normal mode. I think
you got brutally fucked. This is a teen-rated game. Jesus Christ!
I know. I don't know how that got through the censors. Really. So we have one other one here that's a question comment. New FF15 update from Hail Blue 156. We just barely had this guy on an episode of Nude Clan earlier today. That's awesome. Yesterday launched the new update for the game.
I didn't know Hail Blue was that guy. Okay.
Yeah, it totally is. And some nice stuff for season pass holders. My question is, have you played them yet? And what are your thoughts on them? No and none. I really enjoyed the new sword that I got. It hits really hard when you warp strike. I also stumbled on something in the PlayStation Store. Do you all remember the pre-order bonus for getting it through different stores? Well, now you can buy those weapons and car decals for like 49 cents, which in my mind makes pre-ordering kind of stupid. If it's an exclusive item, don't make it something you can buy later. Now, this is something...
You don't have the packaging that Troy got when he got those things.
Yeah, this is something that I talked about upon release, and it was something I was kind of upset about, that they had these exclusive games like the Knight's Tale thing, or no, King's Tale, or fuck whatever the one is.
Yeah,
One's a real game that they reference in the game, and one's a fucking like side scroller beat 'em up that came along with the game if you pre-ordered it from GameStop. But I said, okay, if they make this a pre-order exclusive, there are going to be problems because it's like content. It's an extra little mini game. It only takes a couple hours to beat. It's not crazy, but it is something. And to have it as an exclusive thing for pre-ordering from GameStop, I had kind of a problem with. But I did say I bet they will re-release it all on the PlayStation Store later, and I hope they do that because I wasn't. Knight's Tale is the movie with Heath Ledger. Thank you, Silas.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, isn't that a movie?
And I can't remember what that thing is called. But I was going to be mad if they didn't do that because
King's Knight.
Tale.
King's Knight is one of the games. That's the game that you play on the pinball machine thing.
No, that's Justice Monsters 5.
Fuck! Oh, fuck! I'm way off. Just forget what I'm talking about.
King's Tale. That's what it is.
King's Tale.
Thank you, Stolas. And I was going to be very upset if they didn't release this for the rest of us to consume. I mean, it seems kind of wrong to have pre-order bonuses that are locked forever, and you can just never play them unless you pre-ordered it from GameStop.
We all know the truth. 13 times 3 is 60. 66 or whatever.
Yeah, it's 66. So
right, so it's King's Knight, and 13 times 3 is not 30. Whatever you said, 39.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's good to honor it and have it available on the PlayStation Store. What do you think about that, Craig? Like, do you think that it cheapens the pre-order? Do you feel like it makes pre-ordering dumb?
No, I don't know, because I always expected them to release it later. It's just something that every gaming company has always done. Like they did something similar with Batman Arkham City, where each place that you pre-ordered it from or bought it from had like a special skin for Batman that you could use. And the season pass eventually got those when they were released, like a few months after the pre-order stuff had blown over. So I was pretty confident that everything was gonna be released.
Yeah,
and I didn't expect King's Tale to be released for more than like $5, and it was released free.
You mean King's Knight?
King's Tale.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
That's new for you.
No.
Hey, what's 13 times 3?
Say 66.
39. 30.
So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I can see if it was like actually there's nothing I can think of that I would be not okay with them doing, unless of course they had like the $300 collector edition and they're like, you know what, we're just going to do it for $80 now because we have a bunch of these and no one wants them.
Oh, that would be
too much because that's like physical.
I don't know if it would ever fall that low just because of how much the Play Arts things cost individually.
Yeah,
because like a Noctis by himself costs like $100.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think that it would fall down that low.
Probably not, but yeah, I don't mind it. Let's see what we got here. Gagezilla says, I haven't equipped the new sword yet. He has played the limited hunts a few times, and he filled his inventory up. He's hoping we get some pretty awesome original monsters out of that soon. Steven on the forums replies with, it was nice to finally get my hands on Lightning's sword, even if it's completely useless now. He's also really enjoying the limited time hunts. The 2 posted so far have been unique and entertaining. I'll just have to remember that they're coming and not miss any. So that sounds like the new hunts are kind of fixing the big issue Joe and I had with the old hunts, where most of them are really boring and you fight the monsters in the same exact spot that you fought the last batch of monsters in, but you can't accept them both at the same time. Now, that would be awesome to just have this fuck fest of monsters. You just go in and there's like 40 monsters from like 7 different hunts and you just get battered. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Do a summon and then you kill them all.
Yeah,
so you get like 4 or 5 quests done at once.
Yeah, that would be fucking sweet.
Oh my God, please.
That would be so awesome.
Please.
I would probably do it again if they had that.
And speed up mode.
Yeah. We need times 3 speed.
We need, yeah.
We have a little video here. It's a 12-year-old kid reacting to the FF7 Aerith death scene. Let's, fuck it. Let's do it.
Okay.
We'll look at this.
How long is this video?
I don't know yet. We'll find out how much we want to look at it.
I think he tells
minutes.
you exactly where he finds out below the video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Happens at 1:30. Okay.
Okay, go to like 120.
All right, we're going
All right,
to
so this 12-year-old kid's just playing his game. He's just sitting there.
He looks pretty stunned.
Really? Please be still alive somehow. Will she survive?
Oh, she
the
did.
acceptance of death.
Oh, spoilers, guys.
That's a materia.
She's fucking dead, kid.
Yeah, I wonder if this is like the original Red Wedding reaction video. What?
Dude, there was a... That's kind of crazy that he didn't know that before going into that game.
Why does Sephiroth have to be so crazy?
For narrative purposes.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah, we're going to have to explain to this child story.
Yeah, maybe. No, that's really cool. That's really cool. I saw this girl who had never seen Star Wars and didn't know that Vader was Luke's father. And they had a video on her, and she was like, "What? It's bullshit!" And like, she was like arguing with everybody in the room.
Wow,
it was actually her father. So that's a similar sort of thing. It's like we all know the thing, and we all think everybody knows what's going to happen at the end of the stories, and it's like, oh, guess not.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's really
great.
cool. We don't. It was spoiled for me when I went in. I think I knew she was going to die.
I knew she was going to die.
Did you know too, Caleb? Yeah, it's and, like none of us get to experience what this child has experienced. So he's more pure than all of us.
There you go.
In a way. Yeah, I mean, he's 12.
Stolas says the Brady Games guide ruined her death for me.
That's what you get for reading ahead, man. You're not supposed to cheat like that.
Yeah. That's why. Why else would you buy a strategy guide?
That's a good point.
It's a cheat guide.
That's true.
To find items, not to discover who dies.
All of a sudden it was like, why is Aerith not mentioned after this page?
Yeah, you're like, oh fuck.
What do you mean she doesn't have an ending? Yada yada.
Why can you get all of her stuff on the first disc?
Yeah, that seems kind of crazy, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
We do have. Do you want to do our question from us to you, or do the reviews first?
Let's do reviews first and leave questions from us to you at the end. We have a lot of iTunes and Stitcher reviews.
We do indeed.
Because we're awesome. That's right.
Yeah.
iTunes reviews. iTunes reviews.
All right. First up on iTunes reviews today, these guys are awesome. A 5-star review from Rekka6512 on March 14th, 2017.
Sweet.
Reviews and news are well researched. And the hosts are really entertaining. They present their views in a clear manner with examples and personal anecdotes. I like when the fat one comes on. Ha ha ha. Love you, Caleb Craig. You're not fat.
Thank you.
Spoiler.
I love you too.
Whoa.
Spoiler, Rekka. He's totally fat.
I'm fat, and I'm half his size. That's how fat Caleb is.
He's a great guy, though. Wonderful guy.
Great guy, wonderful guy. The best.
Yeah.
The best fat third occasional host.
Yeah. Wonderful host.
Wonderful best fatty fat McFat pants.
Oh, now you're just being
you like
cruel.
That? You like that?
It's too much.
It's too much.
So we have another one here.
Speaking of too much, Caleb Craig's on the show today.
Yeah. God.
I crack myself up.
I bet you do.
Man, I can't believe you bought a fucking like converter thing that's only
They're not hearing it.
it's mono. I know they're not hearing
Okay.
it. So we bought some new equipment for the show. Thank you to all of you patrons out there. You've supported us and allowed us to buy
had
new
to,
equipment. And we needed a little bit of
update
a
a little
longer cord for our little headphone jack
Don't touch
thing.
it. Oh, don't touch it.
And the cord that we bought
Look, I'm sorry, I forgot.
is a mono cord. But, you know, as everyone knows, if you have something that kind of doesn't work, you can sort of plug it in part way and it'll work. So we can get it in both ears, the sound in both ears, but only in a very delicate position that's like just the tip, right? It's just barely into this fucking thing.
Just the tip.
So every time anybody touches the table, it's just like and it's
I'm sorry. I forgot that you needed. It's a 1/4 inch auxiliary cable. You need. It needs to be a stereo one instead of a guitar amp one, which is a mono one.
Yeah.
But because the headphone amplifier doesn't automatically like sub to mono, it'll take in stereo. It'll only go to one side of the headphone.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit.
It's awesome because it's long enough to like where we all have our headphones on and we don't have to like scrunch into the table, but it only works on one side if we have to plug it in all the way. So
we got a comment in the Twitch stream from Dr. Roxo. He says, "You big meanies." And speaking of big, you are correct.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay, man. I can get all the same fat jokes you can.
Yeah, but
it's all right.
yeah. So another
That makes it okay.
clearly.
You're just reaching for stuff.
You
not paying
honestly, to get past you do have to reach a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that
that's
one
fair.
didn't work that well. Just keep going.
So we have another 5-star review here from Seventh Circle on March 14th, 2017.
Speaking of circles, Caleb is on the show today.
God, dude.
How many times are you gonna do that?
Until Caleb stops laughing at it.
This one's titled Great Show. I truly love this podcast. I also love Nude Clan as well. The show is full of humor, solid critiques of the FF series, and a terrific cast of endearing hosts, both permanent and guest. There you go.
Yeah.
These guys are a window to a time when me and my closest buddies would sit around for hours discussing FF or Squaresoft. Yeah. Oh, the talking dog, dude.
He's trans species.
Yeah. He's like a man trapped in a dog. It's... Dude.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah. I solemnly vow to engage in the forums. I've been silent for too long, and I want to chime in on the fun.
Come chime.
Yeah.
Chime.
Thank you guys for everything you do. Thank you, Seventh Circle, and thank you, Rekka. We have a couple more here to get through. This one's titled
Get
Just
through, you mean
Read with
passion.
Read with
and vigor.
passion, yeah.
Can I read one of these? Can you move it to the second monitor so that I could check it out? Is
Yeah.
that all right?
I can, but I'm gonna
could
have
do
to,
that.
Sometimes they want to hear me.
You're gonna fuck up my shit here, but yeah, we can do it.
I love fucking up your shit, big boy.
Speaking of big boy, Caleb Craig is on the show today.
What's so funny, Greg?
Oh, you only laugh when I say it? Is that what it is?
No, just like the Joe's realization and then not saying it and then you having to do it because he's laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
Oh, shit. Yeah, here we go. Here we
get a
go.
little bit.
Yeah, fuck up my shit. Stir it up.
Just another great one. Thank you, Dylan Osborne.
Yeah.
Just another one of those great ones. 5 stars. Stumbled upon this podcast late 2016 and began at the beginning. It's good.
Yeah.
With the infamous... Is it infamous already? Infamous
yeah.
FF1 episode.
I can tell he's listened to other ones because those are the ones that make it infamous. Okay. Is that what that is?
Just all those two like weird symbols that I don't...
Yeah, sometimes Podbay brings over like emojis as like fucking ancient Hebrew and shit. It's like it's like an ohm symbol over
Got
here.
some hieroglyphics.
Oi! Is what it looks like. So
Boy.
yeah, that's all.
FF1 episode. Oi!
Yeah.
Since then, the hosts have cleaned up the audio sometimes.
Yeah.
And have blossomed, we blossomed twice, into quite a fun, knowledgeable, and engaging podcast, as far as I can tell, from the extent of my knowledge. Well, it can't be engaging and fun, only to the extent of your knowledge is it fun and engaging. All right. Due to me having only hit the FF12 review episode, I'll catch up someday.
You got a ways.
Oh, he's like halfway through. Okay.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden makes sense. Thank you very much. I only wish I had found this sooner because it would have been a blast playing through all the games with Joe and Caleb. I highly recommend this podcast to both FF veterans and newcomers. Keep up the good work, gentlemen, and enjoy the grind. And then the show ended.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Just that.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. We got another one here from McWanta Bay. He says, great review episodes. 5 stars. I happen to open this podcast. Okay, I happen to open this podcast looking for talk about Final Fantasy 15 and was delighted to see this podcast had individual retrospective episode reviews for each FF game. So I started at episode 1 about the original FF have been working my way through the rest of the review episodes. I'm enjoying every minute of it. I'm sure I'll be a steady listener by the time I reach the present episodes. Thank you for years of great work. I get to experience them over just a few days.
That is a crazy thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we've spent so much time doing this, and this guy is going to be caught up to where we are now in a few days. Yeah. Although he is only doing the review episode, so he might not even ever hear this. Dun, dun, dun. It depends on how hardcore he goes. Yeah. So Stitcher is another great site you guys can use to review us if you are anti-Apple or iTunes.
Speaking of Apple-shaped,
yeah,
Caleb Craig.
Now you're just...
Sorry. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So we have
you gotta do good ones if you're gonna fucking do it, okay?
We've got a 5-star review here from Lycan of Light. This guy, he's a streamer, actually. He rated the stream for the first time. It was really fun. It's a great Final Fantasy podcast, 5-star review. After hunting down a way to write a review because for some reason Google Play Music doesn't have a review section.
Yeah, what? Come on, Android. Come on.
And this doo-doo show of a service makes it hard as doo-doo to find the section to review anything. I am finally here to give my thoughts on the podcast. It is a fantastic show. I listen to it at work every time a new show is posted, other than the 15 review because I'm still playing through it. Sorry I spoiled that game for you, by the way. He stopped by the stream for like 10 seconds and I said, like, what happens at the end? And he's like, whoa! Whoa! It's like, there it is! Have fun. Enjoy the 60-hour build-up. Done nothing.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's when the planet blows up, right?
Yeah. If anybody is looking for
one hell of a spoiler right there,
it's fucking massive. I was not
Space
expecting
creatures.
it.
Fuck, dude.
If anybody's
Little
looking,
green men.
If anybody's looking for a podcast that genuinely enjoys the series as much as we do, please give them a listen. Even when they say that FF13 isn't all that bad, come on, that game is hot dog doo-doo smothered on Lucifer's you know what. Lycan of Light. Keep up the good work, Howl. P.S. had to retype the whole thing because of profanity. Ugh. So that's why all the doo-doos and the you-know-whats. This one is a post from our good friend, Chris Japper, who was on a Godzilla podcast a little while ago.
He was on a random Godzilla podcast.
Yeah, it's titled Second Best Podcast... Second best podcast ever.
Second best, Schweiss.
I assume it's to Nude Clan. I've been listening to this podcast recently, and now I'm eager to catch up on all the great material. The review recaps make me want to replay the old games again, and the special feature ones are interesting, funny, and make my work days a lot better. Can't recommend it enough. Would be my fave podcast, but that spot is claimed by the...
Oh, what is that?
Have you heard of this before, this show?
What is it called? Considering he too is a large creature,
a large shambling beast. I feel like if anyone has watched this, listen to this podcast, it would be.
I do know Godzilla well.
Oh, the Godzilla podcast. You see that twice?
I haven't heard of the show.
Yeah.
Even though you're on it,
on it.
You know, it was funny. I had
just doing it in his sleep.
Yeah, I had a wonderful interaction with Chris when I read this review, and I was like, second best, huh? And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, I did find Godzilla first. And I was like, well, I mean, I was the one that put Godzilla on Google Play. And I was like, who's your god now?
Oh, well, Drew was the one who said we should put it on Google Play, but didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. And then I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Because, yeah, he's like, hey, they're doing podcasts now. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we did it. So, in a way.
Okay, so the other show that you're not really on,
that I'm going to be on
that
tomorrow.
I am on.
Oh, okay.
According to Chris, is in fact superior to this show. I appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah, well,
But has he listened
I
to
know
Nude
where his
Clan?
loyalty lies.
I don't think he has.
Well, see. Once he listens to that.
Then he'll have to go back and edit it and be like, fourth favorite podcast of all time. Super sexy Nude Clan.
Oh,
Ultima.
if anybody says Super Sexy is the best show out of the network, that I will blow you twice.
Dude, somebody's
Wow.
going to say that now just because.
Yeah, the chat's going to be like, Super Sexy is the best, times 10. So last week, we had a great question from us to you from Joe. It was, should the Final Fantasy series continue with action-based RPGs, or should they take it a step back and get more of the turn-based games? Let's see what people's reply to that question from us to you. Sure. All right, let's see what the answers from you to us are, is what that jingle should be this time. Felicia Nomiko says, a few years ago, I would have said stick to ATB, but since I've played some action RPGs, I don't mind the action system so much. What I would really like to see would be a hybrid system or the ability to do either or. I liked having a lot of skills. Spells and summons to choose from, but I understand that some people don't enjoy that as much. I would really like to see a system that allows for both, a setting or button that would allow you to pause the combat so you can make choices and then let the battle play out and pause it if you want to choose new actions. Or you could set the AI gambits and let them do their thing. 15's weak point battle-wise is that I have to control when my people heal, but I can't control what else they do, which is annoying. I shouldn't have to be the party healer when I am the main character. I should be able to set the action in a menu and just go, so I get to actually participate in the action part of the RPG. I can't really see that doing a hybrid or flex battle system being that hard to implement these days. Fallout has VATS, which pauses the game so you can think. Dragon Age Inquisition has a mode that allows minute control, of all four characters and the ability to play as them at any given time, so it can be done. I think doing that would be a big innovation on Square's part and would finally allow both camps to live in peace.
Sorry about my interruption there, Felicia. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Watch the YouTube, you'll understand. Silver Shade says, like a lot of you, I agree that it should be something of a mix. Something unique, a combination of the two. Beating a dead horse here, but FF15's battle system was boring and too easy. It needs to have more strategy and or skill-based mechanics. I think action systems are fine. I love the games mostly for their stories and visuals, and would work through a crappier play mechanic for story. However, if each game ends up having virtually the same action-based combat system, I might start to get bored with the series, especially if the stories continue to be lackluster or incomplete. In summary, action, turn-based, or some combination of the two are all fine as long as it has interesting and challenging. As long as it's interesting and challenging, but not broken or impossible.
I do wonder, what did he think of 15 really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He goes on to say, Legend of Dragoon is fantastic, especially the edition system. Glad to see it getting some love. Yeah, that's an amazing game as far as
I haven't
battle
played
is
it.
concerned.
Need to play it someday.
It's good. I think we need to
after all
Nude
these
Clan
goddamn RPGs are done.
Yeah.
For Nude Clan, that'd be great.
Oh, I have 3 to do,
Get
so.
another 40 to 60 hour RPG in there.
Yeah, so we're actually on the wrong page. Of
that's fine. We can go back.
Wrestling Mustaine agrees
that we need to do it for Nude Clan.
Yeah,
that's good because I honestly do think we need to nominate it at some point.
Wrestling Mustaine says he's enjoying 15, but my heart is in the turn-based. Alistair says, what do you class 13s as?
Hybrid. Definitely a hybrid. There is.
Well, I think it's definitely an action or it's a command-based system, but it's so fast-paced that it doesn't feel so much like it's a command-based system. He says, I think it's the best battle system in the series by far, besides 14, but it's not really turn-based. But when I think action RPG, I don't think 13 either.
Yeah.
Either way, if they want to do a game like this again, I would like more depth. It feels much like a poor man's Kingdom Hearts 2. Minus holding a button to auto-dodge, which is lame as hell. Then again, if we go back to turn-based, what do you mean? Because 7, 8, and 9's combat is pretty awful. Come on.
Yeah,
but Tactics was amazing, and outside of the Final Fantasy games like Legend of Dragoon were turn-based and had strict skill-based combat. To answer the question, I think turn-based has the most potential for strategy and depth without a gambit-based system. It's the only way to have the party's AI that isn't a steaming pile, so I will say turn-based. I like the gambit system. I wouldn't mind like something like that, like 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to
13s is kind of like that as well. I guess it's like
you have an assignment that you give them, so it's like hey, this is your job. You make sure this shit is taken care of. I do kind of like 13s, and it does build off of 12's gambit system. And it's nice to be able to control your party's actions to some extent. I mean, when I was doing the Castle Mark challenge dungeon in 15. Sometimes it would take him like 20 seconds to go res me. And like I'm standing right next to fucking Ignis, but he doesn't care. He just doesn't want to help me up. And it's like,
I'm sorry, so do you need something?
Yeah, it would be nice if I could have a gambit where it's like, oh, he's dying, let's help him.
Recipe.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, it'd be nice to go back to that
recipes in battle.
Shinra says, no one action-based game. Oh, see. No one action-based game every once in a while is fine to mix it up, but I think the series should stick to turn-based. I really hope FF16 is more traditional with the turn-based battle system again. Ito's team will not let us down, right? Hopefully he makes the next game. Hopefully he makes another FF6, FF9 style game. It's been a while since we've had an Ito FF game. I know. That's what I'm thinking too, man. Ito should be in charge of 16.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens within Square Enix because you never know.
Rasslin says Tactics and Legend of Dragoon, both childhood favorites. Alistair says if you have shit reflexes, you deal shit damage and take way more. It really shows how lacking the PS1 FF games are in terms of combat. I think that's his Oh, no. That's for the battle system of Legend of Dragoon. You have to be on top of that shit. Okay. Gagezilla says, I think the series should continue to evolve its battle system as long as Square Enix learns from its past. For the most part, he feels that the battle systems have progressed through the series to keep up with hardware of the time. A true turn-based battle system wouldn't feel right for a mainline FF game because it would be a step backwards. Not saying that turn-based games are no longer fun or shouldn't continue to be made, but the main FF series should utilize the current systems to give a modern style of gameplay. Hopefully Square Enix looks at what has been successful and what hasn't and gives us something new each time. Because if I wanted to play the same game again, I will. I have no problem dusting off the classics. I just don't want to have to pay $60 to do it again. Stolas says he doesn't mind either, really. To be critical about this, for the most part, the RPG battle elements in main Final Fantasy series, with the exception of a few dungeons and bosses and super bosses, the first chunk of 10, 12's Gambit system have been pretty shallow. Majority of the casts end up being uniform by the middle part of the playthroughs, and any character can easily one-shot any average enemies. So I don't see the big difference in transitioning to an ARPG if the complaint is there isn't strategies in ARPGs. Maybe you're just holding on to nostalgia that you find having a group of characters take turns in assaulting a person, wild animal, demon aesthetically pleasing. Yet he does think that Final Fantasy XV is a bad example of what a main title FFA RPG can look like just because you're only in control of Noctis. He thinks to make a sound judgment whether or not this should happen is when the first part of the FF7 remake is released. Nomura has hinted that there will be a significant difference on how the characters will play / how they will be utilized using Barrett and Cloud's gameplay as an example.
Alistar doesn't like 15's combat system, it looks like. I'm sorry, not Alistair, but Slipnizzle. I'm sorry, Slipnizzle. Let's see. I say this time again, says Alistair, but the Gambit system solved party AI, and it should be standard in some form for any action RPG with non-controllable party AI. I fucking hate the party in 15. Never mind, Alistair. I did agree that he hated the party system in 15. They're dog shit in moments where it actually counts, but in 12, your party is stupid. If your party is stupid, just mess with the gambits. Granted, I'm a bit mixed on whether playing as a party member should auto-disable their gambits or not, but whatever. I like the system in 12. I'll admit. I honestly think that 15 system is that's my second favorite at the moment as far as battle systems in the series.
To 13s.
To 13s. And it's an action system, and I really like it. And I thought the party AI was pretty decent. The party AI can't be too good, or else the game won't be any sort of a challenge, which 15 was hardly a challenge, but
yeah, since you're immortal the entire time.
Almost.
There's no death.
There is if you're not playing in easy mode.
What do you mean?
Oh, Caleb.
I didn't play in easy mode. If you have fucking Phoenix Downs, all you have to do is Phoenix Down and you're alive again.
Yeah, okay.
You don't completely die. It's not game over.
The item system in 15 is extremely broken. That's true.
Yeah. There is no death.
There is.
There is no death.
There is death.
I've died. I died one time.
I never died.
Did you platinum the game?
No.
I didn't think so. That's why you haven't died yet. Because you didn't have to go down there with all the Iron Giants and the Nagas.
I did that place,
which I always have to be careful when I'm saying.
The only thing I have,
Naga.
Yeah, Joe will say something else if he doesn't really concentrate.
Oh, hey now, Ooh.
It's just more natural for him to say that.
No, don't even start that shit. That's
those fucking Nagas down there though.
God,
they're crazy.
I know.
Why do they call the creatures Nagas?
Why not? And when I look at it, I think Naga.
God.
What I do?
Yeah, I guess.
They've been around for a long time.
You're right. It's just a tradition.
Someone in the Twitch chat one time said we should. That's what we should call the group, like the. Yeah.
Oh no.
They're like, we should do that in the Twitch chat. And I'm like, I agree. But no. Jesus, that's wow. Half of the fan base gone. Anyway, let's see.
Really?
What did you? No, not half. Did you read Alistair's there? Is that what you got to?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Slipnizzle says they should progress more with the action-based combat. They've done so much with ATB and turn-based. It's time for a new, fresh battle system with action. And they can make the game more fluid, as we've seen with 15. Action-based is the future for Square. Every FF game from now on will be action-based. People can remember the past, turn-based, but this new generation of gamers want the games to keep the attention, and action is the way to go. So he says... So I say this about the word, it goes the same with what Square is about to be doing with FF. Either progress with it or get left behind. I think that's very true.
Yeah, there's truth in that. I mean, otherwise you're just going to have the same fan base over and over again. I mean, has Pokemon's fan base gotten bigger, or is it stayed kind of the same the whole time? They've stayed true to themselves, very much.
Yeah.
Sun and Moon is probably their biggest departure from the normal stuff that they've done.
But their productions aren't nearly the size as the Final Fantasy ones, are they?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hail Blue says essentially the same thing. He thinks as a business standpoint, the company wouldn't be growing if it didn't innovate. It wouldn't be around. If they stuck to the original and never grew, the series would surely die out. He liked 15, so he always felt like it was missing something, some sort of a level where the player learns new abilities and earns amazing style limit breaks. You do that a little bit, but... So he wants some of the elements, but he definitely thinks we can't go back to a turn-based battle system. And
Not after 15.
Not ever.
What do you think, Craig?
Well, I think it doesn't even fucking matter because, like I posted on the forums, if Square has created something that no two games are the same, every battle system changes, and I don't think it really matters what they choose to do for the next one, whether it's more of a turn-based or if it's more of an action RPG. As long as they make it like a unique experience, I don't think it'll matter at all what they do.
So you're down with them changing?
I don't care if they change or if they do or if they go back to doing a turn-based style. It really doesn't matter to me.
So you enjoy them both equally, and you don't find it detrimental for them to go back to the past?
No, I think a lot of the reasons why people go back to playing their favorite Final Fantasies, whether it be like 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, whatever they want to play, is because they like a certain the battle system of that game, and I don't think that creating a turn-based style game now would be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there are series out there that are basically exclusively turn-based, right? Like, isn't that what Persona is? Aren't those all turn-based?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always been turn-based, right? You have
and
the
they
first
have one coming out at the end of the month, or at the beginning of next month.
Persona 5, right?
I mean, the other option is that Square Enix decides to experiment more once again with Final Fantasy instead of trying to keep it in its mainstream level. Like, they just decided to go retro all of a sudden, and maybe the games would cost half as much and come out twice as often.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But then, you would have a different type of product, I guess.
It's true,
You wouldn't
you
have this
wouldn't-
big budget game.
You wouldn't have Final Fantasy as we've always
When
known
you
it.
see FF15, I mean, you may see it as incomplete, but whatever's there is, that it was like a big thing.
Yeah,
that
they
had
put
to
a lot
deal
of
with.
money into
I mean,
it.
playing Tales of Zestiria, like, how much smaller of a game is that?
It
may be like
smaller.
it may be a 40-hour game, but like you can tell the amount of work that went into 15 versus the amount of work that like went into Tales of, or amount of money and hours, man hours that was put into this sort of game. It's so much more complex and huge.
Yeah.
In many facets. So that's what you'd be losing, I think.
Plus, you get a car. I mean,
yeah,
win-win.
Right. So, I don't know. I think you'd be losing something with it losing its mainstream status, and I think that's what they're afraid of losing if they go back to a turn-based system. But then again, is the name Final Fantasy enough to keep selling the games regardless of them being turn-based?
I think
or not?
it is.
If it's a
I think
mainline,
currently
yes.
it is, yeah.
If it's a mainline, yes. If not, I don't know. Lightning Returns didn't really sell that many copies. They're satisfied with the 13 trilogy. They said they've sold enough that they view it as a success, the whole thing. But that and Spirits Within prove that Final Fantasy can't sell everything everywhere. But as long as it's a mainline Final Fantasy game, we know they're going to be putting a lot of effort into the battle system. They're going to be putting a decent amount of effort into the story. They're going to be putting a lot into the soundtrack, and it's going to be a very beautiful game. That's just inherent with the mainline games. And I don't
That's
think
what
they're
you're
gonna lose that.
expecting as a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
And the day that the amount of money that they put into making the game it doesn't get results, that's the day when they're going to downsize Final Fantasy. Or, they said, at a certain point, if FF15 didn't sell enough, they'd pretty much be done with the series, at least for a while.
Yeah.
So luckily it did sell. It sold just as much as FF13 has that we know of, right?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
So success. Unless they put out some sequels that do 1/3 the amount of business each time they put it out.
I think they'll just go DLC now.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, well,
I don't think they should. I think the 13 trilogy, although I like 13 too,
It's not necessary though. At
It's
all.
not necessary.
Like it really isn't. It's a lot of fun though. It's like after they did 13, they were like, oh shit, I wish I would have done this with the battle system. And like, what do you think of 2 people and then like a beast character? Like, fuck, we should have done that. Like that's what 13.2 feels like. It's like the scrapbook of 13, and they're like all that shit that they said no, maybe not to. They like pieced it together, and they were like, oh my god, we have something awesome here.
And honestly, if they had come out with Lightning Returns faster, I think it would have sold better. And maybe they didn't have to do it to be continued at the end of 13.2.
Yeah.
That was an issue. I don't know, man. Of course, once they had 13.2, it's like we have to finish it. There has to be a 13.3.
Right.
Because at the end, they just decided to be continue it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, you know, I'm not sure if it was necessary to do that. I don't think that should have been how they should have judged 13's success. I think it should have just been on 13 itself, which of course sold very well.
Yeah,
6 million copies. I think that makes it sells higher than most of the other Final Fantasy games. It's the 4th highest selling Final Fantasy game was FF13.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
So I wouldn't call that Final Fantasy's on the decline. And if 14 is bringing you in money every month, and 11 is the most successful one after years and years of bringing you in money every month, then I don't get it. I honestly, like, there's part of me that wants that team that creates the FF games. They go, okay, let's not do any more spin-offs with these Final Fantasy games. Let's take this team, and their job is to make a Final Fantasy every 3 years. And that's like a sub company. You could call it Squaresoft.
So like kind of like what Call of Duty does,
Fantasy.
where they have like a couple different teams, and then every year they come out with one. I think it could work.
I think you could do something like that.
They would need Ito
would
as the
be
flex worker,
specialized,
and
yeah.
we just grind him into dust.
No, we'll just
making
keep
him
doing
work constantly.
We'll keep doing Kitase and Ito till one of them retires.
Or dies from fucking having to come out with a massive game every other year.
Every 3 years.
Yeah,
Every
Final
3
Fantasy 12 only sold 6 million, so I mean 13, that's
13 sold 6 point something, I want to say.
it was either 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we looked at this years ago,
They're
so things
big.
might have changed, but
they've all been very successful, and I mean they have a good formula going. They switch it up and they adjust, and I don't think they overcorrect as far as the battle system goes. They do it to some extent, but it's never a bad battle system, even if they do overcorrect with the gameplay of each entry. I don't think it's like this one was so one way and this one's so the other way, and they're both bad or one of them's bad. It's always enjoyable to some extent.
I don't know. I kind of dig the direction that they went with 15. And once again, there's like so many good things about 15. It's like take all the great things about 15 and put it into the next game. Because that, like the summoning, I don't know how much I can say about this. That's the perfect summoning system.
Yeah, it's
for
pretty
the Final
sweet.
Fantasy games. I can't think of, there's no better summoning system
Then 15?
than 15. In my opinion.
I know how
Not
I would
Craig's
change it.
opinion.
I know how I would change it.
What,
would you change
tactics?
I would do it sort of like because it feels kind of random for 15. So
Well, it is
I would
for some of them. It's
Yeah,
actually
kind of
is random.
Yeah, I know. So it would be better if there was like a kind of limit break kind of gauge thing that you could build up by attacking or getting hit, and then you could choose which one comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, you choose instead of it being which god.
Which god just randomly decides to help you.
I don't know. That would
then-
be interesting. I'm not
because
sure.
then you could play against elemental resistances and things like that.
I
and
like
so it'd
the
be
idea
more-
that they were gods and that they came out when they said, and that when they did damage, it wasn't like Bahamut and FF5 where it was like, oh, I do just as much as my attacker. It was fucking wipe.
Yeah.
I know. I enjoy that too, but I would have preferred something to like build it up as well. Like it could be random. Also, I would just like the ability to, because he's they made him worthy. So why not be able to be like, hey, I need your help. Come fucking help me.
Okay,
That's fair.
I would say give that system a try. Give your changed system a try.
Rucksack says he likes FF12 summoning. I really like the idea of it, but I didn't find myself using it.
The damage
so.
wasn't enough. Like, if you're going to have a summon, it's got to be worth it. It can't just be like, oh, today I'm going to do a summon.
But that's kind of how the whole series is, though. They're not really worth it a lot of the times. Like, they're awesome for like 5 minutes, and then they're not
when
awesome
you're
anymore.
under-leveled.
Yeah, and then
when they're awesome.
And then when you get leveled up, you're like, that's not even worth the time it takes. I can do more than that with my hands.
13 was kind of interesting for summoning as well.
Dude, I used the one.
I've only used it once so far, but it helped me out in a boss fight.
It is helpful.
So.
I used when you start doing.
I think it would be way better if the other two characters were in there too.
Yeah.
While you summoned it.
When you do trap drops, if you try to go for the platinum, you will use the summon a lot. It helps really stagger the shit out of Adamantoise when you're grinding. Or no, Longui, sorry. When you're grinding the Trapezohedron or whatever the hell it is from him. It's all Vanille's, so you'll just see the one, and you'll hear her do her little scream over and over again, which is... It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. My question from us to you guys this week is... Should I suck it up and play Lightning Returns on easy for the platinum and then play it again on normal because I'm going to have to play the game twice? Or should I keep my pride and continue my hour and a half in or 2 hours in on normal difficulty? You guys decide.
You can't be trans difficulty.
No, I can't.
You can't decide you're just going to be easy one day and normal another.
Yeah, I can't.
All right.
It's a fluid thing, okay?
All right, so guys, go answer that. I think that's going to be it for today's episode at Ultima Final Fantasy. Guys, check out our other podcast, Nude Clan. It's a video game podcast. You can check that out. The Godzilla podcast, if you love old kaiju movies like I do, or super sexy swinging fan fiction if you want to throw up in your mouth a little bit every week. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at UFF Podcast.
You think you could just say your Twitter handle here?
Oh, I fucking can.
Okay. All right. Guys, go to ultimatefinalfantasy.com. If you want to support the show, there's a Patreon link there as well as an Amazon link to go and order FF12 Remastered.
Do it. You know you want it. We know you want it. Everyone knows you want it. Just do it through Amazon. If you're not, unless you're going to get the $200 edition, which sadly is only available on the Square Enix store. But if you're going to do it, because it'll probably sell out.
And what else can they do, Schweiss? They can go to ultimatefinalfantasy.com and join the forums. They can go to twitch.tv/ultimatefinalfantasy and follow us there and see the episodes live every Saturday, most Saturdays, and facebook.com/ultimatefinalfantasy as well.
Yeah. Oh, shit. We had a message from Darth Jamo. It was a reply to our review.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to get to it next week. Don't we have an intro as well somewhere in the messages right now?
Oh, shit.
We totally do.
I think we do.
Tell you what, we'll write a note, and then we'll try to remember to do it.
All right. Thank you for the messages. 385-204-3921 if you want to leave a message that goes to a black hole. That's 385-204-3921.
It doesn't go to a black hole. We've never not played a message that I know of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's easy to say that I know of. We have not done that. You're right. So thank you guys for joining us for this episode, and we will see you. Oh, shit.
Wrong one.
In 1 week's time. Enjoy the double intro grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy
Scared the
Podcast.
shit out of me, by the way.
The show is produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.
Speaking of ultimate pods,
Caleb Craig was on the show today.
On the show today.
Yeah.